Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Doomasect. Okay, good, the intro is done. Time to be super unprofessional, cause let's face it, I have under 100 subscribers. I also haven't gotten a video up in a while. Damn you, Bethesda! So in the time period that I haven't done a Kaiju Corner video, lots and lots of Kaiju-related news has come out, and there's a lot that I really want to geek out about and do videos about, but there's really only one thing that has a lot of meat that I can sink my teeth into. Godzilla vs. King Kong. But before I get to that, bear with me. Dear sweet lord, the new Godzilla design for 2016 looks terrifying and amazing, and I love it, and dear Arceus, have you people seen the new Gamera trailer? Like, holy shit! That terrible moment when you're more excited for Gamera than Godzilla. Though Gamera isn't being directed by a guy who, at least in my mind, made an anime series that might have the single most pretentious fans in any fandom. Like, before Pacific Rim came out, Neon Genesis was an okay show that had a shitty ending. After Pacific Rim came out, I'd get offended if someone would put Neon Genesis in like the top 300 anime of all time. I'd be all like, why is this garbage on this list? Why are you recommending that people watch this? Now don't get me wrong, I love fandoms, I love being in fandoms, and I 100% do not think it's fandoms that ruin their particular source of media. In my search to figure out why Eva fans had to constantly refer to Pacific Rim as a Evangelion ripoff, I discovered many great fans of the show that clearly held it in high standards and were very passionate about the show. That being said, someone telling me they are a fan of the show would be very similar to somebody telling me that they liked the new Godzilla movie. I'd cringe a little, die inside, and then ask them why. And depending on how they answered that particular question, that would decide on whether or not I would acknowledge that that person ever existed again. This little fact isn't helped at all by the majority of comments I've read thus far on the new Godzilla movie being, hey, where's the latest Eva movie? Like, part of me just wishes I had a little bit more motivation. That way, when it came time for the new Eva trailer, I could have this little bot that would just say, hey, when's the next Godzilla movie coming out? And it would just spam that all day long. But for the life of me, as terrible as a human being as I think that I am, I can't bring myself to stoop that damn low. By the way, if anything I've said so far has made you offended, stop being a bitch. Or how about this, you can go make your own YouTube channel, get more views than me, get more subscribers than me, then send me a link proving me wrong. That way I don't have to watch that video and can die knowing that I honestly made you waste your time. Because every time I do so, a bald man somewhere grows a goatee and becomes evil, and that makes me feel good inside. Anyway, enough ranting about that, let's rant about Godzilla fighting King Kong. First up, to the average idiot who says King Kong is smaller than Godzilla. No, you just have terrible eyesight. Godzilla is really only 2 foot tall and is green and shoots orange fire. King Kong, on the other hand, is pink and shits colorful flowers out of his ass. Yes, King Kong is smaller. Good for you for figuring that out. Guess what? It didn't stop them the last time that these two fought. Gee, if only in a movie where giant monsters existed, if there was some way to make a normal creature into a giant monster. If only. Okay, good. Now that we're over that little hurdle, let's talk about the actual hurdle this fight needs to go over. In a previous video, I talked about why Kong beat Godzilla in the first fight. There will be a link to that video in the description. Yes, Kong beat Godzilla. No, that is not the way I interpreted it. It happened. It's not even the last fight that Godzilla lost in. Remember the next movie when he got his ass beat by 2 baby Mothra? The main difference between back then and now is Godzilla's grown to be a lot more powerful. Not only as a character, but in his own celebrity status. I mean, seriously, when was the last really good Kong movie? Don't you dare say 2005 that movie is watchable at best. Good CGI doesn't make a good movie, because if it did, no one would ever complain about the Transformers movies, and Pacific Rim 2 would for sure be happening, and we wouldn't have to be crossing our fingers hoping that it would. The fact is, Godzilla has become a nigh unstoppable creature who only the most powerful of monsters can even hope to compete with. Kong, on the other hand, hasn't changed much since his original movie. Since Kong's latest film hasn't even been released yet, we know nothing about this Kong that is going to fight this Godzilla. Hell, this version of Kong might already start off as the same size as Godzilla. It's safe to assume that if this new Kong hopes to be any kind of challenge for Godzilla, it's going to need to be a very different Kong than we've ever seen before. Like, meaning that bullets aren't going to be its one weakness. There's also another sad little fact we have to look at. Beating a dead horse here, but we didn't get to see very much damn Godzilla in Godzilla 2014, which means we pretty much have to take the information we have. One thing I didn't mention in my Godzilla 2014 rant, yes, there's going to be a annotation, and yes, I'm plugging the shit out of my videos, it's my channel, was that this new Godzilla seemed to be nerfed a little bit from the last one we saw. I mean, for a creature that took a nuke to the face, that building seemed to really kick his ass. So, does this mean we're going to be seeing a powered-down Godzilla fighting King Kong? I, myself, really hope not. I mean, imagine if they decided to make a new Superman movie, and in said movie, Superman and Aquaman are arm wrestling, and Aquaman is all of a sudden now stronger than Superman. That's kind of how this would be. I want a full-fledged powerhouse. I want Godzilla to be fighting a souped-up, roided-out Kong. That's the way I imagine Kong in this kind of fight. I want to see Kong portrayed in this movie like Orga is usually portrayed in the games. I want to see Kong as the most physically powerful kaiju we have ever seen. I want to see him throw Godzilla through some damn buildings. And most of all, the thing I want to see more than any other thing is I want to see him shove every last word down the throats of anyone who has ever implied that Kong is too wimpy to be a real challenge to the King of the Monsters. If this can be done, this might very well be the single greatest time to be a kaiju fan in recent history, and I for one am looking forward to it. If you've enjoyed this video, please give a like rating. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more like this, hit that subscribe button. It's right down there. I'm not going to point it out. It's the one that says subscribe. Feel free to click it. Until next time, watch out for bears.